Hello everyone and happy Friday. Before we share my analysis from these last few days, please remember that neither I nor the SIMETRI team from Crypto Briefing are licensed financial advisors. What we provide is not a personalized investment advice. It is merely our opinions based on our various research and diligence. As always, do your own research before making any decisions about buying or selling crypto. So now we're going to get straight to the Bitcoin charts, and this is what I'm currently seeing. So this is what is commonly known as an X play. If we're looking in terms of trend lines, very simple, a rejection from the top of the trend line, and we head towards the bottom of the trend line. So you can see these two very important trend lines, and they make up an X-type framework in the market. So if we turn lower from today, there's a lot of clues in the charts that maybe we're going to revisit that bottom X, which is probably coming in by the time of the drop. You know, we can reasonably assume that it'll be towards 17,000 if we saw a bearish scenario. Another way to look at the market is that if you have a look at the historical range, or the early year range rather, we can see that we're kind of moved to the upper bound there. And if we look at the equivalent size of this range, it's looking like maybe an $1,800 move, which would take us to 20,000 or maybe 25,800. Another way to look at it, like I said earlier, is the equivalent of the very, very upper end of the summer range. So we've moved into that upper end of the summer range that we weren't able to hold on to. We can see in September we tested it, failed, couldn't get near it again, and now we're starting to consolidate above there. So there is a scenario where we move lower from here, and that could create a large inverted head and shoulders pattern, and then we recover back up there. Or the other scenario is that we move slightly higher today towards maybe 25,000, then we get somewhat of a drop. And that would maybe negate the theory that I'm having that we're going to have an inverted head and shoulder, and we have a much lesser correction in the market. But this is my primary and favored scenario, where we get a much larger bullish reversal pattern in the market. If we now look at this interesting chart on a monthly basis, if you have a look at this candle here, very, very unusual in that we haven't got any type of wick, which means basically since the month started, we didn't get any type of price retracement at the start of the year. We just headed higher. So that's quite unusual. And I think looking at this price channel, there's definitely a scenario where maybe we could move lower this month, or at least come and test some of the demand back towards between 12 and 14,000. If you have a look at all the primary recovery candles, they all feature this kind of wick where they've come back and tested somewhat to see if there's any demand there. So maybe we're going to start to see a full reversal of this candle this month. Or alternatively, we can start to move higher, and note the moving average there as well. We weren't able to move above that key moving average on the monthly price close. So overall, hoping for a big move down towards the 20,000 level at a minimum. Cannot discount a rally from current levels. If we see 23,900, i.e. the top of the range, and then a daily close, and then it looks like 25,000 is coming. A drop below 20,000 to the 19,700 area could cause a sharp decline towards 17,000. Again, I've mentioned before, stochastic divergence is present on the 4-hour time frame, and that takes some time to reverse. Basically, there is a golden cross nearing on the charts, but that's kind of been negated over the last few days. So we are in a very interesting situation going into the Federal Reserve. Looking at Ethereum, we're in consolidation mode here on the daily time frame. We don't have a buy signal, and we don't have a sell signal either. Again, this X play type pattern, we've got a form of triangle that broke to the downside, and we're moving back into the upper end of the former triangle breakout area. So it's possible we could get a rejection from here. And another way to potentially look at that would be this very, very long-term trend line here. Maybe we get a fall off from the top trend line. If we broke underneath the red line, we could get a sharp move down to $500. Alternatively, if we break above today, then it looks like we're headed towards 2,000 or even 2,200. So there's lots of different scenarios, but something I will say very clearly: if the 1,680 level continues to hold, I think a move down towards at least 1,200 looks pretty much assured. And the Williams alligator indicator here, we can see that the buy signal has just started to dissipate, started to move sideways. And if we were to get under maybe 1,400, then that could maybe turn into a sell signal, and we could see a negative shock in the market. And something else to pay attention to is that the Williams alligator indicator on the monthly time frame is still issuing a strong sell signal. So there's still got a monthly sell signal in play. and we're kind of flirting with that range that we broke into and haven't had much traction to get underneath from between 2018 and 2021. So this is signified by this box here. If we move back into this into this area below 1,000, I believe 380, then we could maybe start to see a much sharper decline. I very much doubt we're going to get anywhere near to the bottom of the box, but maybe the middle of the box seems a much more plausible scenario. Anything above 2,000 and stabilization above there, and I'd be looking at maybe a decline and a much larger buy signal, but it doesn't really fit with the bigger picture of what I'm looking at. So in the very lower time frames, Ethereum could be forming a head and shoulders pattern, which is pointing towards at least 1,400. Watch out for a big rejection around the top line support, which is around 1,680, which has already happened. And again, there's a head and shoulders pattern that could be playing out if we move below 1,500 today. And thank you. I hope you found my thoughts helpful. If you'd like more, please click the subscribe button for Pro BTC Trader and join me every week on Wednesdays for our live trading war room and daily email updates.